some corresponding modifications. Okay, so again, a static lunge, meaning I set myself up into position and I go down and up, is going to be what I would consider my entry level lunge. Okay, when I'm in the down position, this knee is on my side of my toes. Ideally, you have a nice straight line from your knee down to your ankle. All right, so you're not lunging forward and back. It's not like you're lunging at something. It's not a seesaw motion, but a down and up motion. So if you find that you're leaning too far forward, a lot of times it's because your feet are too close together. So take those legs out as far as you can get them and then go down and up. If it's not comfortable for your knees, a little movement will do. A lot of times because we see everybody else taking this nice deep lunge, we feel like we need to do that too. Small little lunges. You're still building the strength, building the trust in your mind, in your body to be able to do these properly. Notice my back heel does not touch the ground. That's a second error that I see people make a lot. Their feet are a little too close together and they lunge and then they set the heel down. Lunge, set the heel down. You don't have to do that. Take that leg back. Wide base of support gives you more balance, more stability. Your back heel never needs to touch while you're lunging. Okay, so this would be what I would consider your entry level small baby lunge, or bigger if your knees and your hips are okay with that. From there, we move into a moving lunge, a front stepping or a back stepping lunge. Okay, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So front stepping lunge, we step out and then we push back. When we push back, we need to make sure that we're pressing from the heel. Okay, we don't want to push out of the ball of the foot because that puts a lot of stress on your knees. So when you step out, you're stepping far enough that you have that nice wide stance that you've already trained yourself on in that static position, right? And then when we push back, pushing from the heel, okay? I personally find the front stepping lunge a little more risky for people who aren't experienced or practiced in lunges. So if I want to add movement, a lot of times I will add the back stepping lunge. All right, so got a small space here I'm working with. So I like to have them focus on something that's not moving, step back as far as they can, lunge down, and then come up, okay? Sometimes it's a lot easier if you're looking into a mirror because you can see where that back foot is going, but just step back as far as you think you can. Again, you've already trained that neuromuscular pathway, so your foot should know about where to go. Then lunge down, come up, and step together. I find that one is a little less risky for the knees, okay? Another idea, if you want to start practicing a front stepping lunge, you step forward, put just a little bit of pressure into the heel, just a little knee bend front, and then push back, right? So I step forward just a little bit. That knee, again, is not going beyond my toes like we talked about earlier. Push back from the heel. So I step forward, push. So it's not a full-on lunge, okay? Notice the difference. Here is the front step, practicing forward for a forward stepping lunge. And now I'm going to show you that front stepping lunge. Okay, do you see the difference? So here we are again, just at the front step to practice. Okay, the next progression, which is what I just showed you, would be alternating legs. So if you do a stationary leg, that's going to be a little bit easier because your mind will start to know right where it needs to be. That's going to be a little easier than alternating. So once you've mastered one leg going forward, you do a whole set on one side, whole set on the other, then you could add in the alternating. Okay? And again, once you've mastered each step, then you could add weights. So for example, once I've mastered my static lunge, down and up, I could then add my weights. Okay? Once I feel like I'm getting strong in that, then I could potentially practice my front stepping lunge. Maybe it's a front step to begin, and over a period of time, I get strong enough then I can do the full front stepping lunge. I can do them all on one leg, and then I can do them all on the other leg. Once I feel good about that, I'm then gonna add weights, okay? Once I've mastered that, I'm then going to take it to my alternating forward stepping or back stepping lunge, whichever you choose. Once I've mastered that, I would then add the weights. And then you could add a balance piece to that, okay? So, I know this is long, and I'm sorry, but I'll give you all the options. So, my next option might be that front step, come back, balance, front step, come back, balance, front step, balance. Woo! Make sure you find a focal point. Front step, balance. Okay, for those of you that are lunging, it would become a front lunge to a tap and balance, front lunge to a tap and balance, front lunge to your balance. Once you have mastered all of that, you could then add weights. Okay, so there are all of your options, so many options with lunges on how you can progress them and make them easier or harder. Just know, general rule of thumb, static is always going to be more user-friendly than moving. It doesn't matter what exercise you're doing. If you're changing your foot placement, that always ups the difficulty level.